last couple of weeks, I've been with Whiskey Company 45 Commando in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Now for the first... time, I'm going on the ground with the Americans.
Let's go a bit further back, right? Could be an IED, so I think it would be quite wise to have us to move back.
They're said to be bigger, bolder.
The Schizophrenic Electron. Haha, good analogy. Good metaphor. When it passed through one slit, how could the electron know whether the other slit was open or not? After all, the other slit was some distance away from the slit through which the electron was traveling. It's not that the electron splits into two and goes through both slits. The extraordinary thing is that I have to give up on the idea of the electron being located at any particular point until it is observed. Rather, I should describe the electron by a mathematical wave function that gives a range of possible locations. Yes, probability, right? This was a revolutionary new viewpoint proposed in 1926 by the Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger. The amplitude of the wave encodes the probability that when the electron is observed, it will be found in a particular region of the space. Please look at the diagram. A quantum wave. The higher the wave, the more likely it will be to find the electron at this point in the space. Wow. So there is a y-x axis and a phi axis as well as a height. You might ask, a wave of what? What is vibrating? In fact, it is a wave of information rather than the physical stuff. Wow, wave of information rather than the physical stuff. Just as a crime wave isn't a wave of criminals, but rather information about the likelihood of the crime happening in a particular area. Wow, nice analogy. The wave is simply a mathematical function, and the mathematical function is like a machine or computer. You input information and it calculates away and spits out an answer. The wave function of the electron has an input, any region of space, and the output is a probability that you will find the electrons in that region. Wow! Amazingly, this particle should really be thought of as a piece of evolving mathematics, not a physical thing at all. Wow! It is called a wave because of the function describing these probabilities have many of the features of classical wave functions. Wow, didn't know that. The peaks and troughs encode information about where the electron might be. The bigger the amplitude of the wave, the more likely you are to find the electron in that region of the space. Phew, so cool, huh?
We built a small shower head. We got a couple solar shower bags.
Do they get used?
Once in a while. I mean, we wouldn't be called 33rd unless we used them.
Right.
So
Yeah, so
latrines. These are.
what's the score here? Are you in John bags or are you straight into the ground?
No, we got burn barrels.
You're burning your own shit.
Yeah.
Burn barrels cause serious sickness, taking more soldiers off the front line than anything else. To solve this, the Americans came up with the John bag, which the Brits have found invaluable.
You're the guys that invented the John bag. You know that?
Yeah, but we don't have that many bags. So we decided, what the hell? We'll use the bags when we need them. You know, if we have a mission that comes up, we'll use them next.
So, Tor, have you had any incidents of diarrhea and vomiting, anything like that, D&V as we call it?
Of course.
You have, yeah?
Oh, all the time. I've had it probably more times I'd rather count. It's usually every 2 to 3 weeks, and it'll last about 4 days. Of course.
I'm beginning to wonder when myself and the crew are going to sleep.
This is our IDF bunker, in case we take any kind of contact. And actually, this is where I was going to set you guys up for living.
In the case of wave describing the behavior of the electron, when the wave encounters the screen with a double slit, it is affected by its interaction with the screen. The result is a new wave Hall characteristic produce a strange interference pattern that I picked up on the detector plate. It is at this moment of detection that the electron has to make up its mind where on the plate to be located. The wave function provides the probability of where the electron might appear, but at this moment of the detection, the dice is cast and probabilities become certainties. The wave is no more and the electron looks once again like a particle hitting one point on the detector plate. But run the experiment again, and each time the electron might appear somewhere else. The more electrons I fire at the screen as the pattern of detected electron builds up, the more I see the statistics encoded in the wave appearing. But in any individual case, the physics claims I will never know where on the plate I will find the electron. The curious thing is that I can return to the original experiment that Jung performed with light, but interrupt it in the light, if you will excuse the expression of the Einstein's discovery that light is made up of a particle called photons. If I turn down the intensity of the light source in Jung's experiment, I can reach a point at which the energy being emitted is so low that it corresponds to firing one photon of light at a time at the double-slit screen. Just like the electron, when this photon arrives at the photographic plate, it shows up as a single point on the plate corresponding to its particle nature. Wow! So what's happened to Jung's interference pattern? Here is the amazing thing. Keep firing photon at the double slit screen one at a time, and after a period of time, the build-up of these pricks of the light on the photographic plate slowly reveals the interference pattern. Jung wasn't witnessing a continuous waveform hitting the plate. It was an illusion. Wow! It's actually made up of billions of pixels corresponding to each photon's arrival being detected. To give you a sense of how many photons are hitting the plate, a 100-watt light bulb emits roughly 10 to 20 power, or 100 billion photons per second. Yo! The wave quality of light is the same as that of the electron. The wave is mathematics that determines the probable location of the photon of light when it is detected. The wave character of light is not a wave of vibrating stuff like a water wave, but a wave-like function encoding information about where you will find the photon of light once it is detected. Until it reaches the detector plate, like the electron, it is seemingly passing through the both slits simultaneously, making its mind up about its location in the space only once it is observed. It is this act of the observation that is such a strange feature of the quantum physics. Until I ask the detector to pick up where the electron is, the particle should be thought of as probabilistically distributed over space, with a probability described by a mathematical function that has wave-like characteristics. Wow! And it is the effect of the two slits on this mathematical wave function that alter it in such a way that the electron is forbidden from being located at some point on the detector plate. But when the particle is observed, the dice is rolled and the probability wave has to choose the location on the particle. I remember the Christmas when I first read about this crazy story of how things could appear to be in more than one plate at the same time. Along with toys and sweets that had been crammed into my Christmas stocking, Santa had also included a curious sounding book, Mr. Tompkins, in the paper book. biophysicist called George Gamow. Yes, George Gamow. I like him. His books. So interesting, especially the history of chemistry, right? It tells the story of Mr. Tompkins' attempts to learn physics by attending a series of evening lectures given by our eminent professor. But Mr. Tompkins always drift off to sleep mid-lecture. Yes. In his dream world, the microscopic quantum world of electrons is magnified up to the microscopic world, and the quantum jungle Mr. Tompkins finds himself in is full of tigers and monkeys that are in many places at the same time. When a large pack of fizzy-looking tigers attacks Mr. Tompkins, the professor who accompanies him in his dream lets off a salvo of bullets. One finally hits its mark and the pack of tigers suddenly becomes a single observed tiger. Wow, good metaphor, right? I remember being enchanted by this fantasy world and even more excited by the prospect that it wasn't as fantastic as it appeared. I was beginning to have doubts about the existence of Santa, given that he had to visit a billion children in the course of one night. But the book renewed my faith in this idea. Wow. Of course, Santa was tapping into the quantum physics. Provided that no one actually observed him, he could be in multiple chimneys at the same time. Nice sense of humor. Yeah, it could be truth, you know.
Alright guys.